if you're a rock and roll fan, if you love music like I do, and I know I always talk about the Dragons, but first of all, I'm a big Live Nation fan, concert fan. I brought in a guy that's the president of Live Nation venues. He's always mixed in with all kinds of different venues, concerts. Tom C., who I've had a long-standing relationship with, and I think it'd be good to dive in to the concert business a little bit, how that works, because the concert today has changed from the concert of yesterday.
Oh, absolutely. Right?
Do you think?
Well, we live in an experience world, right? And in a tribal world, and fans love live music, and now more than ever, fans go to live music, right?
What's amazing is you guys
are touring nonstop.
It's amazing, like you guys control 50 venues. I mean, that you now can put a concert tour on almost by yourself.
Under my purview, yeah, right?
Yeah.
There's 50 venues that are Live Nation venues that are mainly outdoor amphitheaters all across the country. So typical May to September season, we're doing about 1,500 shows over that time period, and
Wow.
welcoming over 13 million fans to those venues. And at the end of the day, we're a hospitality business, right? I mean, the artists are amazing on stage. That's why the fans come to a live show, but we need to make sure that they have an awesome time and come back time and time again.
We got to get into how you got to this position, but first question, is there one favorite artist that you have that you either love working with, or they're just so damn popular and it's amazing every time you do something with them, it's better and better?
That's like asking what's your favorite kid, right? It depends on the day, right? If it's on the hip hop side, I love Jay-Z, but I also love Post Malone, right? And if it's on the country side, Chris Stapleton, but enjoy the Dixie Chicks, right? So that the versatility and the music industry, it all depends on mood and what you're into, right? And how you want to enjoy it.
How do you get into this business? Because, a lot of people that watch are, they're music lovers, love the music industry. It's kind of like any in the sports business, maybe
Right.
even cooler, frankly.
Yeah.
You started a long time ago. You were an intern here at Steiner, which is
Yeah, man, we got to talk about that
told.
for a
I mean, geez, you were here when I think we had like 2 employees or 3.
Yeah, there was about 3 employees. This is 1990.
Oh my God!
Right, and first I got to thank you because you've been a mentor and inspiration for me in my career and how I've grown. And if I reflect back into 1990, I knocked on your door and said, "Hey, I want an internship at Steiner Sports," and you were like, "Okay, cool. You're going to work for free." I'm like, "Yeah," and you welcomed me with open arms, man. And we did some cool things together. In fact, when we were down there in Lower Manhattan, and I walked through one of those doors, and you had all these signed baseballs and autographs.
Like a closet, though.
It was a closet, right? It was a closet. And I go walking in, and I'm like, "Brandon, what are you doing with this stuff?" He's like, "It's just in the closet, not much." And I'm like, "Well, how about I take some of that stuff out of the closet? You tell me how much you want for it. I'll go sell it somewhere, and I'll give you the money that you asked for." And you had asked me a couple times, "Well, how much money did you make?" And I would tell you more than what you made. And you all of a sudden said, "Wow, there's something to this collectible market," right? Because
we were a little hesitant on marketing players. We weren't that focused on the collectible thing.
Yeah, listen, and I also learned how you can build relationships with talent. We did some things with O.J. Anderson back in the day, and Keith Hernandez, and that was right before the Yankees were about to take off.
Yeah.
So, but
early 90s.
It's unbelievable what you've done with the company.
So you were in a space that had we were shared with another company,
right?
2,000 square feet.
That's right.
So we had 1,000. They had 1,000.
And you just gave me a tour of this headquarters, and I'm like, "Oh my God, the closet that I'm in is what we used to work in," right? and you're like, "Wait a second, this is..."
What's scary is the 1,000 we were going to sublet. I was like, I think I could sublet some space in the 1,000 I had.
Unbelievable.
Which, I'm not sure what I was thinking about, but it's amazing. Everything's relative about your perspective. But how do you get it? How do you start in a business? Like, how do you get to work for Live Nation? Obviously, you've grown, got promoted.
Sure.
Through the years as I'm following your career.
Yeah, when I was in college, when I met you, I also did Disney internships, right? So I was either going to be a left-handed pitcher for the New York Yankees, or I was going to work in the hospitality industry. I went to Disney as a kid, and every time that I was there, I was like, wow, I was just amazed by how they took care of people, right? And just the whole underbelly of the organization. And I studied it through and through. And then when I was a freshman, I learned that they had what's called the Walt Disney College program, right? And I said, man, I got to apply for it, right? And here I am, have a mullet and long hair, and Disney doesn't accept any of that. And I went to the interview, got the job, cut the
Got the haircut?
mullet, cut it up, and said, listen, my left-handed pitching career was over. I went into the hospitality world, and Disney took me in for 3 summers. I would drive down to Disney in Orlando, work, understand the hospitality business, drive back to college.
Were you a mascot at any point? Were you working? Is that
You know,
part
man,
of
I
it,
can't
or?
tell you that,
Right,
but
okay,
no, I was,
But you're not allowed-
I'm
you're not allowed to
joking, right?
disclose that.
You know, no, I worked at Epcot Center my first summer.
Wow.
Right, Journey into Imagination, Captain EO, and I'm
Okay.
sitting there having to get that costume on, not the furry costume, but the costume where you're a ride attendant, and I learned how to take care of people, right? And I learned how to understand how to welcome people, how to greet them, and the hospitality folks at Disney are just world class. You're gonna learn a ton, right?
Serving is everything.
That's it. And you know, when I graduated, you know, I went to Disney. You know, $5.30 an hour, working for a couple people, right? Working for a couple sales managers, learning the ropes, and they promoted me a couple times, moved me around the country, which was awesome. I was in Connecticut and California working on a bunch of projects for them.
So you were flexible
You have to be.
and started from scratch.
You know, listen, I and now I'm in a seat where I have the ability to mentor, right? Which is like, wow, that's just a totally different like thing for you, right, in your career. And the number one piece of advice I can give to anybody is you've got to be able to move, right? You got, you know, move, go see things. If you're asked to move, go do it. You know, I was incredibly blessed to have a great support system in making that happen as well. And people who believed in me, right? I think that was, for me, it was all about relationship, and it wasn't about a LinkedIn acceptance. It wasn't about it was about who I met and how I street hustled. I wouldn't be here sitting with you in a real relationship almost 30 years later if I didn't have that tenacity to constantly make sure I was taking care of my
And
relationships.
flexibility. That's what
Oh,
amazes me. I
100%.
mean, it's hard. Like I see sometimes I see when I'm talking to younger people trying to find their way. Is like, are you willing to go to another city or another part of the country? And you can see there's such hesitancy now.
Right.
Where it seemed like 20 years ago, it seemed like that's all we kind of did.
I think so, right?
Yeah.
And you know, and then don't follow the money, right? It was painful to hear, man. Early on in my career, don't follow the money. I was like, you kidding me? All I wanted to do was make money. And then I was sitting in a situation where there were 2 times in my career where I actually made less money to go learn. And I try to advise individuals and of that today, and they're like, "Oh man, I can't." And I'm like, "No, you need to
Learning
consider it."
stuff that you can't learn on your own always supersedes any kind of money you can make, because when you take that learning, you'll make even more money.
100%.
Yeah, don't
right?
chase the
You
money,
parlay
chase
it.
things that make the money.
Yeah, and listen, if you could be creative and add value to any organization and learn, that's money, right? That's the key. And then you just parlay that into the next move you're going to make, and then you bring in something.
You're
to
at
the table.
Universal.
Yeah.
How did you make that move? What must have been tough? Because you were doing well at Universal, and that's a great company.
You know,
Right?
I was at Universal Studios in Hollywood for 9 years. Saw them through some amazing epic changes all the way up to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Learned a ton, entrepreneurial spirit. And I had an amazing leader there, Larry Kurzweil. He was the president. Really was an open book of learning the business, right? And I was just blessed to be able to see things weekly that I wouldn't have been able to see at any other job that I had.
Like an example of that. What would be an example
You
of
know,
that?
I got to understand the operation piece of the business because I was in sales, business
Oh.
development, and I was driving revenue, right? But then he had a very open leadership style where I was understanding the operations, food and beverage, parking, all the facets that it takes to actually run a business, right? And most leaders would say, I only want you worried about your discipline. But for 9 years, I got to be a student there, and I was always a live music fan. In fact, I would travel around the world to go see shows with my wife. And I always would get calls from headhunters. I'd never return them. And one day I got a call and said, hey, Live Nation is interested in expanding and bringing in the hospitality components to the live music scene. Would you be interested in having a conversation? And I'll be like, wow, man. Like, Michael
dream
Rapino
job.
to me was like already my top 5 leaders of like, I gotta work for him one day. He'd come to City Walk at Universal and do some interviews on MSNBC and CNBC, and I was like, wait a second, this guy has a thought process like I'd never seen, a lot forward thinker than most that I've ever seen, and got to interview, man, and I was sold. I'm like, I'm in.
That's cool. So talk to me about first of all, I go to Jones Beach.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I'm shocked.
Yep.
Like, I have no idea what I'm about to get into because I got a VIP parking scenario. Then all of a sudden, I got an area where I can go have some drinks, sit down with my friends, and I'm not in this crowded. How did you create all that, and where is that available in all the venues? Are you implementing that now? Is there a true VIP experience now in the venues?
Absolutely. Every one of our venues has a elevated experience to cater to the fan, right?
Wow.
Where when you came out, we went to the James Taylor show, right? And what we want to try to do is reduce as much friction as possible. So get to the venue early. You and your friends can have a cool experience at a club, enjoy a couple cocktails, have a clean, comfortable restroom facility that you can go to.
I got somebody bringing me a beer to my seat.
That's it.
At a concert, I'm like, wow. And I've kind of accustomed to that at a stadium, but never at a concert.
Right.
So that's just simply amazing. Has it gotten more and more difficult because some of these venues are getting older? Like upgrading these venues, how much of a challenge is that?
We always have to look after that experience and elevate it. And we've been fortunate to think about capital needs and what's next and what are we going to do. And we've even got some cool things on the horizon coming up in 2019. In 7 of our venues, we're building out some VIP communal suites. Right, I'm fascinated when you go to lobbies of hotels and you see people hanging
network.
out. Right, you can network, right? And why not start testing out some new seating concepts where you could bring like-minded people together in more of a social environment to see a show, have your wait staff that's there, your refrigerator might be stocked with some of the beverages of your choice, and you could enjoy the show.
Like that. I love that. Is there anything particularly going to happen you're actually about to embark on the next season?
Yeah.
What's special going on for this season? And are bands getting more and more difficult to book, or are they the opposite? Because it seems like there's more bands now available, especially some of the oldies coming back.
Sure. Well, if you think about the business model, when's the last time you bought a CD, right? Probably.
Can't remember.
Probably Spotify, Apple Music, subscription service, which is what the business has moved to. So artists now need to tour. Right? Touring can represent 90 to 95% of an artist's income, right? So being on the road, being in front of their fans, connecting with that live audience is what it's all about today. So artists, are going on the road. It's our job to route tours to their fan base. And we want to make sure that they have a great audience in front of them. That's a promoter's job. That's Live Nation's job.
Explain to me how Live Nation works, though, because are they almost a soup to nuts now at this point? They got the venue. They're now blocking up bands for multiple years, I notice. And then are you doing it all?
The term 360 was used before. Like how can we work as much for the artist? I work for the artist, right? My job is to make sure that at the venue level, we take care of their needs, their fans' needs, and we build that relationship so we keep them happy and keep them on the road, keep them comfortable. And at the end of the day, it's a win-win situation, right?
That's cool. I mean, it's for them. It's a one-stop for them too. Instead of having to go deal with all these different, it's actually easier for the bands.
I mean, years ago, that's what it was, right? I mean, and what I've been able to do is actually work with some amazing original promoters in the U.S. and talk about relationship building. I got to hang out with the likes of Don Law in Boston, Jimmy Koplik in Connecticut, Ron Delsner in New York, and they still work with Live Nation.
Ron Delsner's a legend.
Oh, my God. And he comes up with ideas. At 82 years,
he could run Steiner better than me.
He's 82 years old, and he'll come out with better ideas than anyone in the org.
He's got the collector mentality, though, and and even though he's a big picture thinker, he's extremely creative. When I've met him, the collectible ideas just rolling out of his mouth. But one of the greatest promoters that New York has ever seen.
Big. Ron Delsner. I always kept my concert stubs, right?
Me too.
Growing up,
Got
right?
them all, yep.
So I went back one day, and I'm like, 2 years into Live Nation. I'm like, wait a second, I got to go check this box out and I'm going through it. Lo and behold, I got like 50 tickets from Ron Delsner's name on it. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm like, I would have never put the two together. And now, to your point, you sit down and they risked it all back then. That was their personal money. They'd promote an artist, sell the tickets, make sure that the audience was happy, get them back.
And it was a hit or miss at the end. They're counting the money. They're not sure even where they stood.
We still do that every day, right? I mean, we know where we stand. Don't get me wrong, but every show has a P&L to make sure that we're running it.
If you have a question, by the way, for Tom, just jump in now. We're going to do a little Q&A. And by the way, go to livenation.com. And also, is it premium seating?
Yeah, livenationpremiumseats.com, livenation.com.
I'm telling you, if you want to go to a concert and enjoy it on a little different level, I mean, I think the venues are really pretty good no matter where you sit. But if you want the VIP thing, I'm not saying that. Well,
you want to be looked after.
I am saying I sit in the VIP thing, and it's worth every dollar because I love my parking, love to be able to get the bar, and I like in the venues.
Yeah.
What's the hardest part right now in your business? What's the challenge? What to grow? Are you in growth mode, or are you really trying to take what you have, making it better? What's the hard part?
The hard part is you want to be the best hospitality experience you could be for the fan, right? And we run over 50 venues, and you're trying to figure out, well, what venues is do we have friction here or there? Trying to resolve that, because at the end of the day, we want fans to come back for multiple shows, right? So we believe that the hospitality experience is critical, and the more we could make it a frictionless experience for the fan, like you talked about VIP, but really for all fans, right? We want to make sure that they have a great time. Looking for new venues, right? New places in the U.S. where artists maybe haven't gone to yet, that are new, booming societies that are coming up. Where else can we put venues and add to our Live Nation venue portfolio is really cool.
If I look ahead, Tom, like 10 years from now, I go to a concert. Is there something that sticks in your mind that's going to be like, well, let me tell you what's going to happen in 10 years. If you think this is something,
right,
10 years from now, this is even going to be even more off the hook.
I would, you pull up, you walk in, you don't even have anything. You can come through the gates. We don't scan anything, but the red light or the green light shows as you come walking through. You can go to any location, pick up a product, walk around with it. I'll instantaneously ping your credit card. And we would just know that which show you want to come to next, and all you have to do is say yes, and the ticket's deposited for you, right? I mean, wouldn't that be awesome, right? If you just took all of those barriers away, and you basically said, we've just figured out how to elevate your experience tenfold.
I love that. How difficult it is with these venues also. Like I was thinking, imagine if you went to a concert and you had some access to ask, these band members questions and interaction with band members. Are they becoming more, because it seems like they're a little more accessible with the social media?
Oh man, with Instagram today, and obviously Facebook, Twitter, and whatever social platform you're on, you're absolutely right. They're so connected, and the beautiful thing about that connection is their audience is worldwide and global now, right? So one of the things that is really awesome is someone can be listening to a song in South America the same day that they're listening to it in the U.S. That was never the case before.
Yeah.
So their audience is worldwide, and their connectivity is worldwide. I mean, Post Malone, who's this rising star, he's a superstar.
Mega.
Right? He's in the UK, Ireland, and France this week, selling out arenas. Right? If you went back 15 years ago, that just wasn't the case. So it's global.
Is it hard for you to, you've got this thing going in the States. Is the next step to try to figure out how to go get that overseas? The premium, or are they already doing it?
Yeah, no, overseas is a bit different. Heavy arena focused, and the arenas have VIP, right?
Yeah.
Heavy festival focused, and the festivals have done a really great job on the VIP experience, especially if you've ever been to Napa. You've been to Napa before, I know that. Bottle Rock is a VIP festival through and through. In Napa, Memorial Day weekend, 3 days, food, wine, music, and they've got VIP figured out incredibly well.
That's cool. So how many of these venues? You have 50 venues.
Yeah.
You're only one person.
Yeah.
How many of these venues do you get into over the course of a year? Do you get to how many?
Thank goodness I have an amazing team, right? I mean, we have 28,000 employees that work at Live Nation venues. I've got some great executives that are also part of our organization. I personally don't believe on leading with your feet on the desk. So I'm out on the road probably 70% of the time during the summer, visiting the venues, and not just there when there's nobody there. I've got to be there when it's filled to capacity.
See how things expedite.
Right in the middle. I'm up on the lawn, of our general admission area, hanging out like a fan, trying to figure out, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? How do we elevate our game? What is that fan mentality? And if you can get into the space of the fan and you could help navigate where we go next, then we win. And also you got the employees there too, right? So we've got a lot of hourly employees that work for us. Got to be front and center to make sure that they're having a good time and they continue to work for us and keep our fans happy.
It's amazing how many people don't just go and ask their customers. They send out these emails, or it's with social media you get a little bit of a sampling, but you just need to just go out and talk to your customers.
It was one of those things that when I took over the role and I found out we were doing customer service internally, we flipped it and went to a pretty large organization that actually can help manage that, and send out emails, get them back. You're reading the comments. We get about, out of everybody who comes to a show, 10% of the attendance now gives us feedback.
Wow.
Right.
And how do you get through all that?
You have a lot of data, and then you're also got the comments, right? The pure taking the time to write, and we aggregate them up. So every general manager sees them on their phone the day after a show. They start populating. And if something hits in that 1 or 2 star range area, they're automatically queued up to start contacting them via phone and via email to solve the need and learn from it, right? So before it used to probably sit in more of a dark hole somewhere in the concert business. Like it just can't be the case anymore. We can't grow our attendance by just ignoring what the fan feedback is.
My one big idea is I figured, the thing that upsets me when I go to a concert is the band plays and they don't play my favorite song, which, you can't play them all, but they don't play my favorite. My thing is, like, imagine if every time there's a concert, you had a place where you can go and vote.
Yeah, right.
So, I know a lot of bands that don't want to play this one song because they've been playing it for years, but if everyone votes and say, this is our favorite song, it's the highest percentage of, you put 6 songs on there and you get the vote, and the one that gets the highest vote, the band's going to play. The 5th song will be the audience vote.
That'd be cool, man.
That'd be cool.
Right?
Because it always gets me crazy. I'm like, man, I would do anything if this band would just play this one song, because I hate to come and not have them play it. And usually they're pretty good at playing your top songs, but once in a while, you hear a little scuttlebutt. I hope he plays this. I hope he plays that.
Yeah.
And then the word gets out there about what the song lists are going to be with the internet and everything.
Setlist FM, right?
But imagine if you had those 1 or 2 holes where the band's like, listen, we're going to listen to you. You're going to vote at the beginning. Now you get, the social media info. Right. That's cool, too. Right. And then you guys vote, and we'll say, the highest, all of you voted. This was the top 2 songs. We're going to play them for you.
Cool. Listen, I'm still a fan of live music. It happened the other night, right? So I've been fortunate to see Chris Stapleton play a good handful of times. He's at our venues, and my wife and I have gone on occasion, and we both have a favorite song, When the Stars Come Out.
Cool.
And we were doing a function with Citi, one of our amazing sponsors, at the Hollywood Palladium. It's a small venue. Chris Stapleton's playing after the Grammys. We're like, we're in LA. Do you think he'll do the song? Because we had never seen him do the song live before.
Wow.
First chord hits, we knew that song was on, and you're a fan. You're like, man, he played the song, right? And we've probably seen 10 shows in the past, never played the song. And then I totally understand where you're coming from, because I'm still a fan today.
Then, listen, you may not play my song, but at least I know I got a shot.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen does that once in a while, but you never really know if it's like somebody's yelling out, and he had that part of it. But it seems like he plays, well, I don't know, the concerts keep getting longer, and he keeps playing more songs. So, I mean, you don't want to miss one of those shows. We have a couple questions for.
Question here from Josh: is there a different set of challenges from arena shows to outdoor amphitheater venues like Saratoga Performing Arts Center? As a concert goer and not being the president of venues, what would you prefer?
I love music outdoors, right? I'm going to be partial to the outdoor environment and the weather, the climate. It's that visceral experience that you just can't quite get when you move indoors.
You could breathe.
You could breathe. We're talking about Jones Beach. It's by the water, right? Saratoga, the general admission area of Saratoga being outside. more tribal in nature, and so I'm going to be more partial to the outdoors as just a live music fan.
Here from Mark. Being the biggest promoter of live entertainment, how do you start to build relationships with artists from the beginning of their career to when they become bona fide superstars like Lady Gaga or Beyonce?
No, a great question. We've got a club and theater division, which is my peer. Ron runs venues that are 3,000 people and lower. It's the club and theater world, right? And we have hundreds of clubs and theaters spread around the country, and we're looking for acts. We have bookers who are constantly out there trying to figure out who's making waves, who's creating the noise, where on social media are people navigating to, and we start filling bands with 300-person rooms.
That's cool.
We bring them up
too.
through the ranks, right? And managers manage the careers of artists, and they navigate them accordingly, and it becomes a win-win for everybody.
It's amazing. And people forget, like Lady Gaga was talking about how she was playing in bars for a while.
Oh,
Imagine Dragons for several years are playing little clubs and bars and
the stories, and it's the tenacity, right, and timing, and managing the career, and coming back. We have Hootie and the Blowfish coming back this summer,
wow,
right? And,
really?
And you're like, wow, man,
love them,
right? Like, come on, tell me you don't have a good time with Hootie and the Blowfish, and talk about an act that was taking a little bit of a respite. Now they're back playing better than ever before, and we're gonna have some fun with them this summer.
Yeah, I like that band, man. That was the Rangers, the hockey team. That was like their band back in the 90s.
Another one here from Timothy. What are the most difficult aspects of signing legacy acts to significant tours, and is there a performer you've struggled to get out on the road?
On my side of the business, I have to worry about the hospitality side. I rely on our amazing bookers to handle those types of detailed conversations.
But all the top bands are difficult because everybody wants them, and they're in high demand. They're always going to be tough, at least for me on the athlete side. Like, the bigger the name, the harder it is to get them to come in and do stuff, because they're getting pulled in a million directions.
It's got to be a win-win deal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, everyone's got to be happy. The relationship is key. We're a long tail business. If you follow us closely, you'll see that we're working with the best acts in the business on tours, and they're pretty happy with the relationship.
You guys have done an amazing job. I mean, for a while there at the beginning, it was like, how are you going to get all this under one roof? And it's amazing. And now it's all kind of starting to really come together, I think.
Yeah. And listen, at a timing to where you're in an experienced economy, that is not going to change, right? Everyone would always say, "Oh, you got the cell phone, you've got this. I could watch it on YouTube." Yeah, sure, right? You can. You're gonna watch a song or two, but then there's nothing like actually going there. Lights go down, lights go up, and you're in for the live experience.
Yeah, live events in general. I mean, that's what people are living for, and that's you find your opportunity to get out from your desk, your computer, and just breathe.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, to me, I'm an avid concert goer, and it's one of the things I really, really look forward to doing.
Yeah.
Because it's live, and it's also you never really know what's going to happen.
That's right.
With especially the better acts, they're always bringing something up, and you're having a conversation.
You
with
never
them.
know. It's interesting. You think about it, and you think about the calendar, and an artist could only be one place at one given time on one night.
That's
right?
true.
And you think about how many nights there are in the year, how many times are they going to tour, and an artist might only be playing 200 more times, right, in their career, or whatever that number is you want to go. That's like a Picasso. Right, that's like there's only 200 left, and you're not going to get to all 200.
And your favorite concert, those favorite concerts, you remember, they're still in your head.
I remember them all.
You're never going to forget them.
Right, and who you were with, what you were doing,
If you had a favorite concert out there, we're going to give away some Beatles and some other memorabilia stuff.
Yeah.
So we want to hear from your favorite concerts if you got one.
We'll get some Live
and
Nation
why.
tickets to folks too.
That'd be fun,
we
man.
could do that.
I love favorite concert stories.
I had my first ticket stub. I found an artist. He took my first ticket stub, created a piece of art out of it, and I have it in my office.
And what concert was that?
The concert was in New Jersey. It was the Beastie Boys back when they were playing the Capitol Theater.
Wow.
Public Enemy, Murphy's Law were before them. No one knew who they really were. License to Ill was the album, and it was just.
That's strong.
I was in 10th grade, and it was the first show that I went to by myself.
That's cool.
It was awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
My first concert was Led Zeppelin. And I
Oh,
never
no way.
listened. I never listened to rock and roll. I was like this straight kid, and my friend said, "Come into the city. We're going to go to a concert." I didn't even know what a concert was.
Right.
So we get to Madison Square Garden. I go, "Oh well, this is going to work out. Sold out." You know, they have the big billboard.
Yeah.
Sold out. I'm like, he goes, "You get out of the car, just walk around and ask people if they have an extra ticket."
Right. Right.
Just ask them. Yeah, I'll be there in a minute. We don't have to buy them, but we this thing called scalping. So I'm walking around. This lady gives me 2 tickets. And I said, she goes, "Who's this for?" I said, "Me and my friend. He's just parking the car. He's going to be over in a minute. How much are they?" And, you know, she goes, no. "Are you going to sit in the seats?" I said, "Yeah." She gave me 2 seats for free. Led Zeppelin, 1975, 3rd row orchestra center.
Oh my God, man.
And that was my
Legendary.
That's my
right?
first
And you
intro
remember-
to rock and roll, a concert, and a lot of other foreign substances. Because in those days,
Yeah.
you know, all these people were doing a lot of strange things I'd never seen before, and it wasn't like they were hiding. You know,
Back then, the experience started sleeping out, waiting for the ticket to go on sale,
No
right?
question.
Like, so it started 6 months before the show, where you got all this money, this cash from your friends, and you're at the record store, and then you're waiting in line, and you're like, "Man, this is
or
awesome."
dialing.
I'm like,
you gotta
what
dial.
ticket am I going to get? Like, you didn't have a choice. It was like, "Hey, I want 6 tickets. Here's my money," and then I'd get the tickets, and then you'd find out where you're sitting, and then you'd be like, "It was worth my sleep, or miss, or
You had
it
no
was like,
choice.
oh, what am I
You
going to
took
do?"
whatever they gave you.
Right, and you just didn't know. Now
Yeah.
today, obviously, the game
Yeah.
has changed a bit, right?
Yeah.
And you can navigate, see where you're going to sit, be happy, make your selection, and you go.
It's amazing how much things have changed, especially back then. You know, the rotary phone.
Yeah.
You
of course.
really, I mean, you're thinking about dialing.
Rotary phone
you're
challenge,
busy.
man. Could you imagine?
You know,
right?
we used to get like 3 or 4 rotary phones, my brother, you know, together, and we'd all just keep dialing.
Yeah, trying to get
And we
that
had
ticket.
a couple of lines in my mom's office. We just, you know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
How do you get venues to choose your company?
Are you involved with picking up more venues? Like, are you going to pick up more than the 50 venues that Live Nation Premium has
Yeah, well,
now?
you know, there's a couple aspects of the business, right? There's the venues that are already existing, right? That we promote into, and you know, we always are looking at, wow, if there's a couple of those venues that are existing that we could put under our portfolio from an acquisition perspective, what would they be? So we're really closely looking at that, and we're also looking at a lot of property, like undeveloped locations, working with municipalities to try to figure out, well, how can we bring venues to certain jurisdictions that might not have venues today? It's an economic boost. It employs people. It gets people to travel into the region, elevates your food and beverage intake of hospitality and hotels, right? So there's a whole other side of economic upside.
Almost similar to sports, where they're trying to lure sports teams in, they're trying to lure venues in to bring
That's right.
concerts in. Because that gives a town a pop by bringing in regular, right?
Yeah, entertainment districts, right? And as we start to think about those secondary markets, that's where these venues have gotten the original foundation. And as you know, you look at the map today, you're like, wow, there's some interesting places out there. Really can't get into where I'm thinking, but you know, there's places, and hopefully people are watching where they want a venue. Let us know. Hey, we'll look at it.
Yeah. By the way, see the 50 venues, but you'd be surprised. Go to Live Nation.
Well, you got
where you can see it.
Shoreline up in Mountain View, but legendary. The Gorge up in Washington.
Beautiful.
Jones Beach. We talked about PNC. Xfinity Center, which is Great Woods, the old Great Woods. Don Law built it. And then, you know, it's just an amazing collection.
Wow. That's special.
Yeah.
Do people tour around? Do people buy a subscription where they want to hit a lot of these venues? Will they do that? Like when you go see all the ballparks?
You know what it does? It's not that, kind of like the Deadheads, remember? You know, Deadheads still exist, which, you know, Dave Matthews Band fans, tribal, man. They're like, they'll go on the road, Fish fans, Zach Brown fans, right? And you know, they'll wind up looking at which weekends that they want to take, and they have friends that they've met over time. You know, Saratoga Springs, 2 nights in Saratoga, Dave Matthews Band, probably 70, maybe 25% of the people rather would probably be coming in for that show from out of the area.
And that's a good pop.
Yeah, big deal.
Right?
Big deal.
It's a big pop.
Final question here from Tyler. Will tickets one day only be digital? I know you guys were talking about ticket stubs a little bit before.
You know, I do see that day. I see that day coming.
I hate that day, by the way.
You know, I know, right?
I hate that. I like my ticket stub,
all the
man.
tickets are amazing.
I like my ticket stub. You know, I'll hold it. I like.
I see the day of it happening. I don't know when the day is going to be, right? I mean, we still find people want the ticket mailed at home, so we give people an option where it's digital ticket or mail ticket, and you still get people who want that physical ticket.
Yeah.
So we'll listen to the fan, right? The fan and the artists are who we work for.
You know, those ticket stubs
we
used to
make
be.
it happen.
There's something special about having that ticket stub.
Oh,
There's nothing
to this
like
day,
it,
man.
yeah. Or the concert poster. You know,
Yeah.
like I remember going to see like Bruce Springsteen at Shea Stadium with my son. First time I took him to see Bruce, and we have that concert poster
Right.
to remind us of that experience, which is always cool. But I tend to be a little bit of a collectible mindset. I'm a little crazy. Tom, it's been great. Closing remarks about how people can get a hold of you and anything people want to know about this summer. Is there a surprising act that you guys have announced or anything that's going to be hitting the circuit?
You know, we're always announcing shows. Got some cool collaborations that we're going to be announcing over the next couple of weeks that are going to hit the road this summer at Live Nation venues.
Like, how do you find out about that? Like, do you need to just go and
Go to livenation.com
or social media, Live Nation too?
Yeah,
you
join
put that up.
Join
So otherwise,
Instagram.
like, it's not like the ads. Like, go to the Village Voice, you'd see that strip.
Oh
of
my gosh!
remember
Right?
those days?
They still exist, you know, for local shows. A lot
So
of
if you
local
really want to
shows
find out
doing
where
that.
the bands are and what's going on, you really actually go you need to subscribe.
Yeah, I would follow our venues on Instagram,
Yeah.
right? Facebook. Every one of our venues has their own accounts. We've got Live Nation. Of course, get our email, right? We got venue emails that we send out to make sure that you know what's going on at the venue. And then from a VIP perspective, you know, on the website, you could learn more about our premium experiences at every one of our venues.
You got to try these premium experiences if you get an opportunity. If you're out there, you'll love it.
Well,
They've
thank
done
you,
a
man.
great job. You've done a great job. I mean, only because
Well, thank you.
know I've experienced it all, and now like it keeps me wanting to go back, which is a help. Because you know if you get caught up in and not that there's anything wrong with it, but sometimes I just need a little space. I want to get to the concert early, not worry, and I got a place to go. I love that.
We'll take care of you.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
Hey.
Thanks, buddy.